Hello everyone, Lit here. So in this video, I want to share the setup that I've been playing for the last week. And this is Scion Aura Stacker with Penance Brand. So with this setup, I will have two POB on the descriptions, one with original sin and the other one without original sin. Both of them works well. The difference is on the original sin versions, you will have better damage just because number one, chaos damage by percentage shield. So that's a big deal in terms of DPS. And the other benefit is also you don't have to worry about reflex because there's no reflex chaos. And for both POB, I will not include the effect from punishment, curse, and also wither. And the punishment is for the non-original sin versions. If your enemy below 50%, you will have a really huge spike of DPS. And for the wither is for the original sin versions. And we can get the wither effect from Balance of Terror. It has a mod that if you cast a Despair in past 10 seconds, you can inflict wither on hit. And if you have a 15 stack wither, your damage is also going to have a huge spike. The reason why I'm not including both of them into the POB configuration because both of them is very conditional. And for the Ascendancy itself, I moved to Scion because this is an Aura stacker and I'm playing with Adorn. Scion have a better access to Jewel Socket and also Scion have a more skill points so you can grab more stuff. But the downside of Scion is I'm using Rational Doctrine. That's how I generate my Consecrated Ground and Profane Ground. And that's give a specific requirement on your attributes. So your strength and intelligence need to be on the same value. And your strength and intelligence need to be higher than your dexterity. And that's allow you to generate Profane Ground and Consecrated Ground. So for the gear itself, majority of them I'm still using the same gear. So I'm still using the same helmet. I'm still using the same wand. And for the wand, what I can recommend is find a base that have a lower intelligence requirement that will make your life a lot easier. And I'm still using the same amulet, the same ring, and I'm also still using the same glove. And for the boots, I'm using Ralakes, and this makes us count as having maximum number of charges without have to actually have the charges. And this make us able to bypass all the blue alternate mods. So that's the primary reason why I'm using Ralakes. And for the body armor, I do use a different body armor. So this is a mirror tier body armors. And what make this armor is really good is because the fist damage taken as cold damage and also the Speci Suppressions. Both of them helps a lot with defense. If you don't have this body armor, the fist damage taken as cold damage, you're going to lose that. There's nothing you can do to replace that. But for the Speci Suppressions, you can go for Forbidden Flash and Forbidden Flame to Warden Node. That will give you 20 Speci Suppressions and you get another 2% from the tattoo. And for the passive tree, it's totally different because this is a different archetype. And for the detail, you can look into the POP and I will highlight few that I think is very important. So for the cluster, I'm using Voices and this is a 3 passive Voices. If you want to reduce the budget, you can change this into the large cluster jewel. But that will reduce the amount of socket you're going to have. That's mean you're going to have less DPS and less HP because we are using a Thorn. And the second one is Militant Fate. The most important part of the Militant Fate is the increased effect of non-curse aura. And for the other mod, you can look for elemental damage, brand damage, area damage. One of these three is fine. And the other important note about the Militant Fate is you need this closer node on this specific node. Because the other node you're going to use the like leadership and harrier, this is a useful node. And this closer node gives us immunity to elemental element while on consecrated ground. And if you cannot find a militant fate that have this particular node, you can get the elemental element with avoid being shocked on the blast and also storm shroud. And that's also mean that you have to sacrifice one jewel socket, so you're going to have a little bit less DPS and a little bit less life. And also because we are Scion, we have access to the right side of the tree, and this give us a lot of access to Speci Suppression. So if you're not able to keep your Speci Suppressions, if you can reach something like 86%, you can just use lucky. I think that's good enough. And for the aura itself, I'm using a lot of aura, but there's a 1 aura specific that you can change around, and that is Herald of Ash. The reason why I'm using Herald of Ash is because it provides a decent amount of DPS. It's also help with clearing. The other options, if you want it to be more tanky than this, you can actually use Arctic Armor. That will give you a lot more physical damage reductions and also fire damage reductions. So for the next one, let's talk about the map modifier. So for this setup specifically, there's a few map mod that you cannot do. Number one is debuff expire faster. I think that's a T17 exclusive mod. And that especially make your brand expire really fast. So your damage will be non-existent. And the second one is reduce non-cost aura, because this is aura stacker. Without your aura, you're going to lose a lot of DPS, a lot of defense, and all that stuff. And the third one is cannot regen life, mana, and energy shield. And this is because we are still using mana to cast all our skill. I do not find a way to bypass that one, except using life tap. But if you're losing life tap, that's mean all the other skill you need to use life tap too, and that's a little bit complicated. You can use life tap to bypass that mode, but for me personally, I just usually skip that mode. And the next one is less recovery, energy shield, and life. You can bypass this mod if you have the gain life on hit on your Watcher Eyes. If you do not have this mod, you cannot skip the less recovery. So I think that's all about setup. I think I explained everything that I need to explain, and I think you can reduce the budget of the setup by a lot, because a lot of the stuff that I'm using here, you can find a cheaper version. Of course, you're going to have like less defense and less DPS, because I mean it's budget versions, but I think it's very possible to reduce the budget of the setup. So that's all I have for you today, and if you guys have any question, as usual, leave it in the comment below. I will try my best to answer it, and thank you everyone for watching. I will see you in the next one.